Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kradash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders and the bishops of Great Millstone, and Shalom to you hopefully elect beloved brothers and you few sisters. Peace be unto you in these last days, because we're truly living in the end times. And relatively recently, there's been a sharp uptick of men and women having dreams about the M.O.T.B. As you can see in the caption here, it reads, woman shares dreams about the M.O.T.B. And that's an acronym for the mark of the beast that's outlined in Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 16th through the 18th verse. And I want to be clear, the mark of the beast is the RFID micro C-hip, okay? And what happened with this woman here, it happened according to prophecy. And what do I mean by that? Let me come from here before I play this short, and I'm going to play it momentarily, but I want to grab a scripture or two because it's a powerful dream, all right? And it reads this in the book of Acts, the 2nd chapter, the 17th through the 18th verse, and it reads, and it shall come to pass in the last days, says Yahweh, and we are in the last days now, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. And to prophesy means to speak on or say before it occurs. Your young men shall see visions. Your old men shall dream dreams. And on my men servants and on my maid servants I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they shall prophesy. Let me get one more scripture here, because I like something that the book of Revelation, the 20th chapter, the 4th through the 5th verse reads. Because should we be of the elect, this is the victory that we have to look forward to. Look at what it states here in the subtitle. And the saints reign with Hamashiach for 1,000 years. And that's going into that first resurrection. And the saints are the children of Israel. All right. Psalms chapter 148. All right. And also Psalms chapter 148 verse 14. All right. Psalms chapter 50 verse 5. And it reads this, and I saw thrones, and they that sat on them, and judgment was committed to them. Very quickly, you have to consider when Peter asked Yahweh Shai, Lord, what will we receive, just roughly paraphrasing, for following you? And Yahweh Shai answered him and said, for those who have followed me, you will sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Remember, brothers, the Lord is going to make us kings in his kingdom. All right. We want to get commended for standing so stiffly for the name. All right. But continuing on. Then I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the witness to Yahweh Shai and for the word of the Most High. You see, even if some of our lots is to be deleted for this truth that we push, remember the scriptures tells us for those that die in Yahweh Shai are going to be raised up first. All right. Nevertheless, continuing on, because that's something I wanted to highlight here, the latter part of this precept. And it reads, who had not worshipped the beast or his image. What's the beast? All right. What's the 7 heads? That's NATO and EU. That makes up the 10 horns. In America is the whore that sits on top of the beast or his image. And what's the beast's image? That new world order. All right. It had not received his mark. And what's the mark? The mark is the RFID micro C-hip. And here's the point that I want to highlight here. On their foreheads, notice that it's plural, or on their hands. Notice that that's plural too as well. All right. Anywhere on your head, or in either hand, your right hand or your left hand. And let's go a little further, anywhere in your body, all right? But let's continue on. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach for 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead did not live again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. And for those of us, if our lot is to perish on this side, you know, Lord willing, we are of the elect. We're going to be raised up in that and be part of that first resurrection. All right. Let me come back. Let me come out of this here. And I want to play all of this testimony. I want you to listen closely, and per usual, I want to chime in with the scriptures momentarily.
So I had another dream a couple nights ago, and it was about the mark of the beast again.
If you notice that the woman says she had another dream, all right, about the mark of the beast again. It's written in the book of Job, the 33rd chapter, around about the 14th verse, That's roughly paraphrased, and it tells us the Lord speaketh once, yea, twice, but man perceiveth it not. You see? All right? But the hopefully elect, we perceive and we understand what the mark of the beast is, and we know not to take it. But nevertheless, let's continue on.
I dream that I am in a living room with my husband and my mother-in-law, and another loved one walks through the door, and she's really excited about this thing that she did, and she shows us her right hand, and you can see where there is a microchip implanted in her hand. And she's telling us about how amazing this thing is and how we have to get it. Like, everyone has to get this thing. And me and my husband, we look at each other and we're like, we knew what it was.
Let me say this. Many of us are going to encounter this. And what do I mean by that? You know, our family members, your grandmother, your mother, your father, your various siblings, they're going to take the RFID micro C-hip, all right? And should we be the elect, they're simply going to perish on this side and have to be born in the kingdom all over again, all right? Okay, but let's continue on.
And she looked at us and she's like, what? Is it bad or something? Let me guess, it's bad. And she gets angry and she storms out the door. So then we walk outside, and when we get outside, there are these lines of people. Like, they're all lined up. There are people with pens and clipboards, and they're signing people up, non-disclosures, to get this mark. And so we're just like kind of avoiding the lines and trying to be, not be suspicious. But you can tell that the people who are, who have the clipboards, they're taking note of the people walking past and not getting in line. So, from there, we go to this office space, and there's like maybe 10 or 12 other people with us in this office space, and we have like protein shakes and snacks, and everything's like, we're stocked up for maybe about just a week for 12 people. But we all have agreed that there is no way, like, we will die before we take the mark. We knew what was going on, and we're like, no, we're not doing that. And next thing you know, the family member that had came in the door at the beginning, showing us her mark and was so excited about it, she walks in the door, and she is no longer herself. She's like a shell of her old self. But now she's like an informant. And that's when I wake up. And I just feel like that is how close we are. We are so close. So close. And when that happens, like, anyone who takes the mark, they are not themselves. They're not themselves after they take it. They are transhuman, informants. They are being tracked. And if you are with them, you can be tracked down.
No, and that's the spirit. Because I was just clicking on different photos that I had queued up in the background as a backdrop. And nothing happens by chance. And what do we see there in the middle? 144 or 4, and Lord willing, we are of that number with a 3. And the 3 goes into understanding and the hope for the elect, specifically the 144,000, all right? And also, too, the rest of the elect, too, as well. We know and understand what this mark is. Let me come from this here, right? Because this woman, she could potentially be a speckled bird Israelite, and the Lord kept her from that hour of temptation that's outlined in Revelation, the 3rd chapter, in the 10th through the 11th verse. And we'll go into that word temptation, too, as well, all right? And it reads this: because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. And we're going to delve into that word temptation, which shall come upon all the world. Because remember, the entire world is going to be tried. All right, this is going to be the new world order, the new way of doing things, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Let me stop right there. And let's go to the blue letter here very quickly. All right, because we here at GMS, we go into the blue letter, we go into the Hebrew, we go into the Greek, and all of these things. All right, let's come down to the word temptation. And what does it mean here? What does it give us? It gives us what?
Strong's G 3986. Pyrosmas.
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 What does it state here? He's going to keep us from what? An experiment, attempting, a trial, a proving. But let's go a little further into the root word, because you got to go into root words. And now it gives us
Strong's G 3985. Pyrazzo. Pyrazzo.
To try whether a thing can be done. All right. But let's go a little bit further. What is the Lord saying? What does it give us now?
Strong's G 3984. Pyra.
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 What does that mean? Through the idea of piercing, right? Now let's go back to Revelation and let's continue on. And it reads, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of what? Of piercing, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Verse 11 is the point for the hope of the elect. Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast which thou hast. And what do we have? We have this truth, all right? That no man take thy crown. And Lord willing, we are of the elect, and we can see what's coming upon the whole earth. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith. Shalom.